Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's Mr. Pringle with today's math lesson. Today we are working on multiplication properties and division rules for lesson 5 in chapter 3. If you don't have a pencil, if you don't have your math book open to page 161, hit the pause button now and go get those things ready so we can rock and roll. Okay, today, Math in My World, Example 1. The table shows Jenny and Cliff's chores. Jenny earns $3 for each chore, and Cliff earns $2 for each chore. How much does each person earn for completing their chores? Complete each number sentence below. Well, Jenny, she packs lunches and takes out the trash, and Cliff, he sets the table, cleans his room, and walks the dog. So Cliff has 3 chores, and Jenny only has 2 chores. But Jenny's 2 chores, she earns $3, and for Cliff's 3 chores, he earns $2. Take note that this one says 2 times 3, and this one says 3 times 2. They're the same numbers in a different order, and they will give us 6 for 2 times 3, and 6 for 3 times 2. This is something that you probably noticed when we talked about fact families. So each person earns $6 for doing their chores. This, just like addition, is the commutative property of multiplication. The commutative property of multiplication says that when multiplying, the order of the factors does not change the product. So 4 times 2 equals 8, and 2 times 4 equals 8. It's just like the addition one, where the order doesn't matter. The next property that we're going to talk about today is the identity property of multiplication. When any number is multiplied by 1, the product is that number. So when we are looking for the identity property today, we're looking for that 1. And then the last one today is the 0 property of multiplication. It says when any number is multiplied by 0, the product is 0. I know you guys know that already. We just needed to know its name. Flip the page. Okay, these are our division rules. We have division rules just like we had subtraction rules, and we have 2 really easy ones. One, the zeros in division. When you divide 0 by any non-zero number, the quotient is 0. So 0 divided by 5 is 0. If I have 0 apples and I put them in 5 groups, I still have 0 apples. Okay, here's an important rule. It is not possible to divide a number by 0. You cannot have 5 divided by 0. It doesn't work. Even if you put it in a calculator, it won't work. It doesn't do anything. It gives you an error. Our second division rule is ones in division. It says when you divide any number by 1, the quotient is always the dividend. So 1 divided by 7 is going to equal 7. 8 divided by 1 is going to equal 8. 9 million divided by 1 is going to equal 9 million. The second part of that rule is when you divide any non-zero number by itself, the quotient is always 1. So 4 divided by 4 is 1. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 100 divided by 100 is 1. If I have 100 apples and I put them in 100 groups, each group is going to have 1 apple in it. Example 2 today. There are 9 party favors and 9 guests. How many party favors will each guest get? Complete the number sentence. Okay, so there are 9 party favors and there are 9 guests. So each guest is going to get 1 party favor. A non-zero number divided by the same number is 1. So each guest will get 1 party favor. This is our ones in division rule. I want you to hit pause right now and complete these 2 problems. And then after you complete them, you can unpause them and check with me. Okay, the guided practice says, identify the property or rule shown by each equation. 12 times 0 equals 0. Well, if I go back to my key concepts in my multiplication problems, I can see that any number divided or multiplied by 0 is going to be 0. That's the 0 property of multiplication. So on the line, I am going to write 0 property. And this one says 8 times 5 equals 5 times 8. If I go back to my properties, I can see that that is the commutative property of multiplication. So on the line, I am going to write commutative. If you'd like, you can add the of multiplication part. If you look on the assignment today for the independent practice, that's what you're going to do for the whole page. You are going to tell me which property or which division rule that you are going to use, and when you come down here to the bottom, don't forget that you also have to fill in the variable before you tell me the property. So before we start this today, I want you to get your journals out, and I want you to copy the properties and the examples into your math journal right underneath your heading, and don't forget to copy what the division rules are and example for each division rule. When you're done with that, you'll be able to get started on your independent practice on the front and on the back. Have a great day.